Hello, hello. Hi, excuse me. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. Today is October 12th, 2021. And yeah, if you're new to the live stream, sorry I have the hiccups today. I've been trying to get rid of them. If you're new, new to the live streams, I do these live streams every Monday through Thursday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. And and my voice is cracking as well. Might be losing my voice. But yeah, we cover everything Webflow, from creating layouts and websites, and yeah, creating layouts in Webflow and animations and interactions in Webflow. And I also provide support via Super Chat, via the Super Chat function on YouTube. So, excuse me, my voice is going and I have hiccups. So I'm going to try to get through this live stream as best I can. So just bear with me. Hello, Killa. Hello, Tazaware. How's it going? We are going to build this site here today. So yeah, it's just a contact form, excuse me. And we're going to style it and make it look really good. So yeah, this is what we will be building today, sorry. So I'm just going to give a few minutes to let everyone kind of come in as I set up the slide here. And today is Tuesday. Oh, excuse me. Build a contact form. All right, so yeah, so today's agenda, we are going to, well, today is Tuesday. Today's the 12th, and welcome to Everything Webflow. And on today's agenda, we're going to build a contact form in Webflow, and then that's from 12 to 12:30, and then from 12:30 to 12:40, I'm going to field any questions about this build. And then from 12:40 to 1 p.m., we're going to have a general Webflow discussion, and I'll field any super chats. So that's what the agenda is looking like today. So again, we're going to be building this contact form and styling it. Oh my God. Hey, Amy. Hello. I saw you left a comment, but then I couldn't find it anymore. So today's not my day as far as like talking and doing the live stream. Like my voice is going and I have hiccups. That's the perfect combination for doing a live stream. And I really tried everything to get rid of these hiccups. Like I tried all the techniques, they just won't go away. So Amy, if you have any questions today, definitely let me know in the chat, and I'll be happy to help. So Killa, you wrote, can we do a particle logos in Webflow today or anytime in the future? Can you send me an example of what you mean, Killa, to my site? Oh my God, that's gonna get old really quick. Yeah, just send me the site in the contact form and I can take a look. That is a kind of highly, what do I call that? Like kind of a personal request. So I would appreciate a super chat for that, if you want me to cover that. But yeah, we're going to be building this contact form. So yeah, we can get started. Hope everyone is doing well. If you're new to the live streams, I do these every Monday through Thursday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Central. We cover everything regarding Webflow, layouts, animations, interactions, and I provide support via Super Chat if you need help with your website. I'm just going to place this mic a little bit lower, so try not to get the hiccups that pronounced. All right, so yeah, so again, we're going through these wireframes. So I looked, this is a Figma wireframe, so I'm just grabbing all these layouts, whatever layout I want to build for that day, I just grab it and then we build it. So this is the layout that I saw, it's just a wireframe, and, I went ahead and recreated it in Webflow. We can see, I like to use Sizzy, but actually I'll show that in a sec, but it's fully, we can make it a bit more responsive, but as you can see, it's very responsive for different devices. And we can work on here the responsiveness. We can work on that a little bit. But I guess I'll showcase it now. I use Sizzy.co. It's this application. So Amy, a super chat is it's a function in YouTube. You should have a button. It's like the money symbol, and you can just drop me like a donation. Basically, it just helps support the channel, and helps support me to create these every day, almost every day. So if you just drop like a donation, I call that a super chat because it's called super chat in YouTube, where you click the $ and then you send a super chat, and you just drop in whatever amount you want to drop in there. And super chats, by sending a super chat, you can ask a really specific question to your personal project, or you could ask me to go over something specific. So if there's something you want to learn how to build in Webflow, or if there's a feature you want to add to your website and you want to know how to do it, or you want to see me do it, you can drop a super chat, and I can get to that near the end of the live stream. Great. Sweet. So Killer wrote, I just got back and made coffee. Coffee is great. And set up Peppa Pig for my daughter. Cool. That must be a show, I'm guessing. But yeah, I'm just showcasing Sizzy, so we can see what it looks like on different devices. So I can see here, I can make this more responsive here on this laptop. 15-inch looks good. iPad definitely needs work. So yeah, iPad 11-inch looks good. iPhone 12, that looks pretty good. iPhone 12 Max looks good, and the Pixel 5 looks pretty good as well. We can probably add some margin there, but the 12.9-inch, we definitely want to work on that. So we're gonna have to work on this a bit here for the 12.9-inch. So yeah, let's get into the build, so we don't spend too much time here on the intro. Yeah, no, I tried everything, Killa. I held my breath. I drank water in a weird way. I just couldn't do any more because it's right before the live stream. If it gets too annoying, then I'll cut the live stream short and try to work on these hiccups. But my voice is cracking because I think I've been talking a lot. Amy wrote, okay, thank you. I will do that and send my question that I posted towards the end. Sounds good. Thanks, Amy. All right, let's get into the build. Let me start a new project here in the midst of my hiccups. And we have a new project. And Amy, while I'm building this, if you have any questions, feel free to write them up as well in the chat. Those don't require a super chat. If there's questions about the build of the day. All right, cool. So we have a blank project. Again, we're building this contact form with this image on the right. So we have the body. We have a blank project. Should you bump up the opacity of the input div block? I kind of like the opacity kind of being lower here. So yeah, but yeah, we'll get into that, Killa. All right, so for those of you who have seen my live streams, we'll start off with the section. So Amy, you're probably familiar with this, but I hold down Command K to add elements. It brings up the quick find. So you can add elements here as well from the elements panel. But I hit Command K. It just makes it easy for me to add elements. And I'll add a section. I always like to start my sites with a section. And any different sections, any different parts of the site, I'll add a new section. So I'll call this contact section. And I'll set the min height to 100 VH for now. Hey, what's up, Dylan? How's it going? That looks good. And then I think for this section, I'm actually going to set the display setting to center. So apply a flex setting, center. I didn't do this in the original one, but I think this might work out a bit better. And then I'll hit Command K. I'll add a container. Every time I add a section, I want to put a container in the section. Or actually, no, not for this one. Sorry. So this is a full screen contact form. And we'll get more into the details of how I built this in a second. So in the contact section, I'm going to add a div block. And we're going to give this the name contact wrapper. And we're going to set the width to 100%. Yeah, that's good. And then in the contact wrapper, I'm going to add a div block. So let's look at the structure here in the navigator. So we have the contact section. We have the contact wrapper. So yeah, I never like to add elements directly to the section. I like to put things in a wrapper, and that gives me more flexibility for my layouts as I'm building. So we have the contact wrapper. I'll add the div block, and I'll call this contact left. And I'll add another div block, and I'll call this contact right. Okay, and then for the contact wrapper, I'll set it to flex, horizontal, align, stretch, and justify start. And then for the contact left, we'll set it to, let's do 60%. And the contact right, let's do 40% in width. Okay, that looks good. And then, yeah, so now we can start adding content to the contact left section. So for this site, I'm using the font sign, and then I'm using Varela round for this because this heading has such a short X height. I wanted to make sure I found a font that had a short X height as well. And Varela isn't too short, but it's the shortest one I found by the default ones in Webflow. Yeah, for sure, Killa. I'll be happy to go over that. Cool. Nice. So let's go ahead and install the font sign. So I'll go into fonts and I'll install it. So S, here we go. It always takes me forever to find these fonts. We have sign right here. Here we go, sign. Sign mono might be cool too. Add font. Let me install sign mono. We'll get a bit creative in this live stream. Sign mono might give us a very cool paragraph text. I haven't used it before. Okay, so let's go into the designer. And in the contact, actually let's add a background color to the section. So let's go, yeah, let's go into the coolers. So coolers.co is a website I used for color palettes, and I used this color palette here for the site. So I'll grab this color here for the background. I'll go into the section and just give it that background color. And then we'll go into the contact left section. I'll hold down Command K. I'll add a heading. So we have the heading there, and I'll call this, I'll select the global tag so we can, all of our headings will be the same. The same every time we add a heading. So all H1 headings, and I'll give it the font sign, and I'll make the font size 56, and the line height I'll do 1.3 unitless. Okay, to the section I'm going to add 5 VW of padding from the left, so we have some spacing on the left, and that looks good. This contact right section, we're going to worry about it in a second, but we have the heading, and I can write it in get in touch. That looks good. And then I'll go into, yeah, and also for this heading, let's give it this blue color. So we use this color palette. So I'm just going to grab this blue color and select the all H1 headings and make the color blue. Okay. I'll select contact left. I'll add a paragraph element. We'll style the all paragraphs text, and I'm going to try the sign mono. I do not like that. So let's do Varela like I initially had. So Varela, and I'm going to use a font size of 16. Let me make sure that's what I used here. Maybe 18. No, 16. And a line height of 1.7 unitless. So unitless is like percentages. So it's like 100% line height, or in this case 1.7%, or 170, I think. I don't know if they correlate exactly, but I like using unitless for line height. It just helps with responsiveness when getting to different devices. Okay, so I'll grab this text and I'll paste it in here. Have a project in mind that you think we'd be a great fit for. We'd love to know what you're thinking. And then for this, I'm gonna give it, Oh, also for the paragraphs, let's give it this blue color, and I'll just add it in here. So we have that blue color for the text. And then I'm going to give a custom class to this paragraph. I'm going to say contact paragraph, and I'm going to set the width to 40 ch, which is 40 characters, or 42. Let's do 42. Yeah. So 42. Hey Kavita, how's it going? What's up? What's up? All right. So we are building this contact form today, and we're going to style it and make it look good. There's actually quite a bit that goes into a contact form. So we're not just going to work on the styling today, but we're also going to work on the components of a form and what makes up a form and how you want to set up the settings of the form so that your message comes through correctly. So yeah, we'll go through all of that. So we have the paragraph, and the next thing I want to add is the form. So we'll go into the contact left. I'll add an element, and I'll add a form block. So we just add it there. And this is what it looks like currently. So right off the bat, I'm just going to go ahead and style these elements. So for the name field, I'll give this a class name contact field label. And for this, I used what size? 18. Okay, cool. So for this, I'm using sign and the size of 18. The line height, I'll say 1.3. And then I'll just add this class to the email address as well, contact field label. And then we'll style the text field. So I'll say contact text field. And for this, I'll give it the border. So I'm using these colors here. So I'm going to use this orange color. And let's give it a border of orange, and then a background of that orange color. And I can save this global swatch, so I can click the plus here and click create, so I always have access to this color. And then for this orange, I'm going to set the alpha, or the opacity, to 10, so it's really light, and it gives us this form here. And then I'm also going to set the height to 50, so it makes it a bit bigger. And now all I have to do for this field is give it the class name contact text field, and we have that styled. So what I want to do now is in the form, I want to add a div block, and I want to call this contact name wrapper, or contact, actually I'm going to call this contact top wrapper because it's going to be the top. And then I'm going to place these elements inside of this wrapper. And actually we want, yeah, so this is going to get interesting. Okay, so we have these elements in this wrapper, and I want to set it to flex. Let me do something like this so we can see it. So flex, and actually, does that work? No, it doesn't, because we want this text to be at the top. So if we look here, this text is at the top, and then we have the field. So we actually have to do one more thing. Yeah, grid is amazing. Hey Dale, how's it going? Yep, we're building this contact form here today. No worries. The pricing grid from yesterday project has been super helpful for me. Happy to hear that, Kavita, for sure. Yeah, yep, cool. So yeah, that's the contact wrapper. So we actually want to add another div block, and we want to say contact, I'm going to say contact name wrapper, even though one of them is an email. And I'm going to place this in here and this in here, and then to this contact name wrapper. Yeah, actually that looks good. So we're good there. I'll add another div block. Apologies if this is getting a little bit confusing, but basically we're just adding, I'll explain it in a second, just so it doesn't get too confusing here. And yeah, and then for the contact name wrapper, I'm going to say grow if possible. And then I'm going to add a margin of 20 to the right, or 40. Okay, I'll explain what I just did because that was a lot. So basically, because I wanted these two fields side by side, I had to put them in a wrapper and then apply a display setting of flex to that wrapper and set it to horizontal so that they're lined up next to each other. but then I also wanted the name or the field label to be above the text field. So I had to wrap that in another wrapper, and then these two become vertically aligned because they're div blocks, so they just stack on top of each other. Hopefully that made sense. If you have any questions, let me know. Hey Manuel, no worries. Yeah, we're just building a contact form today and styling it. So yeah, cool. We have that. And I'll worry about the spacing afterward. So let's move on to the next part, which is the buttons here. So let me go into the form. I'm going to add a div block, and I'm going to call this radio buttons wrapper. Yep, and then I'll add I'll copy and paste this field label, and I'll call this subject. And then in here, I'm going to add another div block, and I'm going to call this radio, or actually, you know what? Let me call this middle, contact middle wrapper. How's that? So we have the top, this is the top, then we have the middle, which is going to be the radio buttons. So we have the field label, and then this will be radio buttons wrapper. Okay, cool. All right, and this is going to be set to grid. All right, so let's add a grid, right? Because we have a 2x3 grid here, which is going to make it easy to design this. So to the radio buttons wrapper, I'll select grid, and I'll add 3 columns and 2 rows. Perfect. I'll click done, and that's it. So in each radio buttons wrapper, I'm just going to add a radio button. Okay. And for the radio button, we can immediately go into the element settings and just take note of the group name. You want all the radio buttons to have the same group name, but they can have a different choice value. And we'll get to that in a second. But I'll go ahead and style this radio button. So for the text, I'm using, what is it? Yeah, I'm using Montserrat for this. Actually, I'm going to use Varela. Let me see what Montserrat looks like here. Yeah, no, I'll use Varela. So this should actually be Varela round. Yeah. Okay, so we'll use Varela round. So for the text, let's just say all labels here, and we'll style all the labels. And I'll say Varela round, and the size we'll set it to, what did I use here? Yep, 16. And a line height of 1.3 dash. Okay. And then for the radio button, we'll select this radio button here. We'll go to element settings, and we'll set the style to custom. And I'll just give this the class name radio button, and I'll make the size 20 by 20. Give it the border of, let's see, this orange color to match the styling of the text fields. So we'll enter that in there. And then for the background, we'll also do that color, but I'll set the opacity to 10 for the alpha. And then when it's checked, we'll change this color to orange as well. And that's fine. We'll just leave it like that. So it's just a border indicating that it's checked. Okay. And then let's see here. Let me remove, let me say all labels. I'll remove this margin from the bottom. Actually, no, I'll just call this radio button label. Give it a custom class. And then for this radio button field, let me try to center it. No, that didn't work. So let's see here. Oh, okay, so for the circle, this radio button, let's remove that top margin so that it's centered. And then to the radio button, I'll add a margin of 10 pixels from the right. And that looks good. So we have our radio button. I'm also going to remove this margin from the bottom here on the radio button label. And great. So now we have the radio button. I can right click, duplicate, right click, duplicate, right click, duplicate, duplicate, and duplicate. Okay. Let's check out our options: illustration, web design, mobile design. So I'll double click, illustration, web design, mobile design, development, motion graphics, development. I think my hiccups went away. Motion graphics and other. Okay, that looks good. And cool. So we have the submit button. Let me move the submit button down here. And I'm gonna go ahead and start adding some margin. So the contact top wrapper, I'll say, excuse me, I'll say 20, maybe 20. And to the contact middle wrapper, we'll say 20 as well. Okay, and then the contact field label, let's set it to 20. Yeah, that doesn't look bad. I'll work on that in a second. All right, so the last thing we need to add is the messages area. So we'll add one more div block, and I'll call this contact bottom wrapper. So we have the top, middle, and bottom, and then we have the submit button. So in here, we're gonna add, I'll just copy and paste this contact field label, and we'll call this messages, or message. Okay, and then in the contact bottom wrapper, I'll hit Command K, and I'll add a text area, right? Because if we look at the elements panel, here are all the things we have access to as far as that we have access to for the form. Okay, and I'll say contact text area, and let me grab my colors here. Actually, I added it as a global swatch, so I can just go into the border, set it to orange, go into the background, set it to orange with an alpha of 10. Okay, cool. So that's looking good. I'm gonna go ahead and add a bit more margin to the bottom of these different sections, maybe like 40. Yeah, that's looking good. And then for this text area, I'm gonna set the height to 150. Let's see, that didn't add anything. Let me see here. Text area. Oh, that's fun. Huh. Let me see something here. Contact text area. It's not letting me change the height. Okay, that's interesting. Let me delete this for a second and re-add it. So text area. Curious. All right, we'll get back to that in a second. It's not letting me change the height here. So must be something, none of this has explicit height to it, so. All right, yeah, we'll come back to that in a second. Cool. Yeah, so let's style the button. So I'll say contact form button, give it a radius of 8 pixels, give it a background color of orange, and we'll make the text sign. We'll set it to maybe 18 and 1.3 dash for the line height. And I'll say for the text, I'll say send message. Cool. And let's make the size 16. Okay, and for this bottom wrapper, let me add 40 pixels. Let me add more padding to this button, maybe like 15. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, I'm not sure why I can't change the height there. Maybe I have to add more. No, I don't like that. Shouldn't have to add more padding. All right. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. So then we have the contact text field. Let's add some placeholder text. So I'm going to say name, or let's say full name, and let's style this text. So I can click the drop down, go to placeholder, and for this text, let's set it to Varela round, and the color, I'm going to select this blue color and paste that in there, and then just set the opacity to something like 20, maybe 40. Yeah. Okay. And the same for this, we'll say email, and then for this, let's go to placeholder and set it to Varela round, and that blue color, and 40. All right. Cool, cool. It's looking good. So yeah, you can style the placeholder text by clicking the drop down here and selecting placeholder. Okay, cool. That's looking good. Let's make sure all the text is that blue color. So let me say normal here for this text. Yeah, just enter that blue color there. And then these should have that blue color as well, the field labels. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, great. So let's add that image. So this should be pretty fun. So for the contact rate section, we see we have this image here. And for this image, I went to, this is just a little tip, just went to unsplash.com. I searched for black and white photos, black and white, and I scrolled through, and I think I found that image with a ball. It was somewhere around here. This one's pretty cool too. Yeah, let me download that. I'll showcase what I did. And then I went to shapefactory.co, and they have a duotone feature. So I clicked here, and then I uploaded the image. So that image we just added, where is it? I did just download it, didn't I? Yeah, it's right here. Okay, cool. So we have that image, and then I went into here and I grabbed those colors. So it was orange and blue. So orange and blue. Okay, so we have those colors. I'm not really liking this picture so much. And let me try to invert it. So orange and blue. No, still don't like that. All right, I'll just use the image that I had initially, which was, if I can find it now. Here it is. So I use this image. Yeah. So that's how I got this here. And yeah, so I must have used a lighter orange, I'm thinking. Maybe this, I used this one. Is that what I used? No, I used the regular orange. I guess it's just a little bit bigger here. Okay, so that's how I did that. Then I downloaded it. I did pass it through, or I resized it, and I might have passed it through a compression, but basically it's this image here. And I just went ahead and added it to Webflow. Might be kind of large actually. Oh no, this is the one I just downloaded. Let me see. Yeah, that's the one I just downloaded. Let me find the one that I've already compressed. So yeah, we can see this image is 2.4 megabytes. That's too large. So I ran it through compress PNG to reduce the file size. And that's just a nice little tip to reduce the file size of your images. So then I have this one that's minified. It's still fairly large. It's almost a megabyte. So I'd probably work on it a bit more to get it even smaller. So now for the contact rate section, I can go into the background, click the plus, choose image, select this image, set it to cover, position it in the center, and I don't need it to be tiled. Then for this contact rate, I'm going to set the position to fixed and position it to the right. so it always stays in place, and this contact form will scroll if it has any specific, if it goes past the height of the viewport. This will stay in place and the contact form will scroll. All right, so hopefully everyone's following along so far. Yeah, so yeah, for this contact left, I'm actually going to change it to 50%. Yeah, that's better. So we have some space here on the right. And let me go back to this contact text area, see if I can change the height. No, still nothing. Oh, thanks, Amy. So let's see what Amy wrote. I'm in the studio, probably you right now. I'm having. Okay, sounds good. So I'll get to that in just a second, Amy. Appreciate the super chat for sure. We will get to that in just one sec. I'll just finish this build and then we'll get into the super chats. Yeah, this is very curious. If anyone knows why I'm not able to change the height here, definitely let me know, because I'm very curious about that. Yeah, I was able to do it on this one. Oh, wait a second. Oh, I guess text areas, you can't. Okay. So text areas will look like this, I guess. Because on this one I used a text field, and that's why I was able to resize it. But text areas doesn't look like you can resize it. Show all settings. Yeah, okay. All right, cool. So yeah, I think we're pretty much done. Let's go to the radio buttons and let's go to the element settings. And let's just give the choice value the name of the button. So I'll say illustration. And here I'll say web design. And note how it says radio 2 here. We want this to say radio. Like all of these need to have the same group name, but they can have a different choice of value. And this will make sure that it'll show up correctly on your form. So the group name is radio. Choice value here is development. Radio. And this is motion graphics. This is radio and other. Cool. So let's publish it. Let's take a look, see how we did. And yeah, let me work on the margin here. This should be a little bit more, maybe 40. Yeah, that's better. Actually, that looks good. I like that spacing. The last thing we'll do is make it responsive. So yeah, that looks pretty good. Nice. Okay, so we do need to work on this here. Yeah, with grid, I'm trying to see if I can make it wrap. What does dense do? I don't think that's gonna work. No. Okay, so the responsive version would need a bit of work here, because as you can see when we get there, it gets a little bit wonky. But let's go into tablet, and let's change this for tablet. So I'll select the contact wrapper. I'll set it to vertical. I'll set this contact right to a position of relative, and set it to a width of 100%. Same with this left side. We'll set it to 100% instead of 50. And then we'll add 5 VW on tablet from the right. And then for the contact right, let's add about 400 pixels of height to the image. And then we'll add some padding of like 60 from the bottom for the tablet. And let's add some padding from the top here of 60. maybe 40. Okay, it's looking pretty good. And let me add some margin here, 60, there we go, maybe 40. Cool, that looks good. Then mobile landscape, that still looks good. Mobile portrait, let's set this to auto for this text. And let's set this to vertical. Let's set this wrapper to 2 columns. So I'll delete a column. And let's do 1 column. Okay. And great. Just like that, we made it responsive. Let me remove some of this height from the top. I could actually set this to 0. Awesome. Or maybe 20. It looks too close to the top. Very good. Okay, and we are done. Remove columns as width decreases. Yeah, that's a good question, or a good point, Dale. So yeah, let me see here. Actually, now it might look better because we just changed it for tablet. No, let's see. Yeah, we just get there. It's not too bad. I mean, motion graphics goes right under at the end. So it's not ideal, but it's not the end of the world either. And I would want this to line up with this, so going to add 40 pixels of margin here from the right. Cool, so this is aligned. All right, I think we're done. It's pretty responsive. I'm not going to nitpick that last thing, and if I did, I might, one thing I could do here is for this grid cell, for the column, set it to maybe 12 pixels, so they're a bit closer, and that might fix that responsive issue. So Amy, I definitely want to get to your question. Sorry about that if you've been patiently waiting. But I just want to get through this build before we get to super chats. Excuse me. All right, so while that's publishing, we'll just quickly go through the layout. So again, we have the contact section, we have the contact wrapper. On desktop, the contact section has 5 VW of padding from the left. Then we have the contact wrapper. We have the left side, which is 50%. The right side is 40%, set to fixed to the right. Then on the left is where we add all our elements, the heading, the paragraph, the form. And in the form, we have a top wrapper, middle wrapper, and a bottom wrapper. The top wrapper has the names, an email address. Middle wrapper has the buttons, and the bottom wrapper has the text area. And then we have this button here, and looks good. And then we just made it responsive for the different devices. All right, cool. Thanks, Amy. Appreciate it. Appreciate the patience for sure. All right. No, that motion still goes just underneath. So it's a slight little thing. I'm sure it would be a quick fix. But yeah, it's definitely good here. So I'll just go to Sizzy and let's take a look at how we did. See if it's a bit more responsive here on this device. Yeah, so motion graphics, ooh. I tell you, web design can just be a little bit, I'm not going to say annoying, but you're building this and you're like, just one word is too long. But yeah, what we could do is just use MoGraphics for this. I think a lot of people use MoGraph. Yeah, MoGraph is like this is kind of cheating. I probably wouldn't do this, but I would say MoGraph. It's like a short name for motion graphics. And then we'll be all set. So it's kind of a little cheat there, but we can see it looks really nice on tablet now. MacBook Pro 15-inch looks great. Laptop looks great. iMac Retina looks great. iPhone 12, awesome. iPhone 12 Pro Max, awesome. Probably make the heading a little smaller there. But yeah, we've designed a pretty cool contact form. All right. Yeah, so that's it for this build. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I'm going to get to Amy's super chat. So let me just go to the website here. So Amy, I hope you don't mind me sharing this with the group. So the Studio 9 company.com/projects. Okay. Ooh, very nice. I love the white space. Super clean. And the color of the images with the white space looks awesome. Great. Cool menu. Love it. Ooh, I like that too. That's nice. Very nice. All right, so the question is an alternating layout using CMS Grid achievable? Right now, I'm having to manually filter the grid to add each blog post, and I want them to repeat alternating. Okay, let me just think about this for a sec. So, is an alternative using CMS Grid. Manually filter the grid to add each blog post, and I want them. That's a great question, Amy. Yeah, so I see what you mean. So vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal. So it alternates this way. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, the CMS gets tricky. Let's see. Let's try it. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Amy. Basically, we want alternating sizes as we go down. Okay, I've never done this before, but this could be a great kind of experiment. Let me start a new project and we'll go through this. For those in the chat, this might go over 1 p.m. So just letting you know. Okay. So the first thing I'll do is yeah, let's add. I'm going to add a collection. I'll say blog posts. Create collection. Let's add 10 items. And I'm going to yeah, they have images. Great. For sure. Yeah. No, this is, I'm curious about this as well, Amy, for sure. Let me add a section. And I'll say blog section. We'll add a container. Call this blog or just container. And max width of 1440. Cool. Okay. Then we'll add a wrapper. Oh, sorry. Hope nobody heard that. Excuse me. Blog wrapper. we'll set it to, yeah, we'll just set it center. Okay, and here I'll add a collection list, and we'll select the blog posts. I'll go ahead and set this, let me give it the class name, collection list wrapper. I'll call this collection list. So to this collection list, we'll set it to grid. Yeah, let's just do that for now. And the collection list wrapper, let's set it to 100%. Okay, so we have our grid of blog posts. And yeah, okay. So I'll add an image. And for this, I'll call this, yeah, we'll just call it, this is where it's going to get interesting. Okay, let me go to element settings. And let's see if we can find a filter for this. Okay, all right, let's see. Okay, let me get the image and get the image from main image. Okay, all right, so we have the images, and now we need to try to set them to different sizes and have them alternate. Okay, so let me call this blog image or post image. And essentially, I'm gonna do something like this. Wow, this is interesting. It's gonna take me a sec, Amy, because I think there might be a way, but I'm just trying to see if, because that's the thing with CMS items. Once you change one item, it wants to change it for all of them. But using filters, you can sometimes apply specific attributes to different collection items. So here under filters, you know, I could add a filter if the name equals something, or if a toggle is switched on. I could try to set the size of the image to something else. Maybe. So I'm just trying to see if this is possible. So I'm guessing on your site, let's see. Is this a CMS? Let me take a quick look. Oh, this isn't Webflow. Okay. Gotcha. What I was doing is duplicating the content wrapper to basically make another CMS grid. And then limiting the start values. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yep, definitely. So you had basically basically multiple collection list and then just changing the start order. Yeah. But I see how grid would be a shortcut. Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah. Let me see here. Can we do it with columns? Yeah, let me see something. Like all my blog posts wouldn't be able to show up if I add more posts. Yeah, but then I was limiting myself to pagination wise. Like all my blog posts wouldn't be able to show. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Collection item. Filters. If we add the filter. Yeah, no, that would only hide or show elements. Hey Tommy, how's it going? Yeah, we're just brainstorming here. Amy's trying to figure out how to get a layout like this. Alternating sizes for CMS using grid. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, hope you had a good dinner. And so we're getting some suggestions here. Kavita wrote, "Can you resize each image individually?" No, because anytime. So for example, if I go into each image, so if I try to set this like 500 by 700, or let's do 300 by 500, and set it to cover. Then for the grid cell, I could center it, right? See, it changes it for all of them, which isn't the look we're going for. Could I change it in here? This would be wild if I could. This would solve it. No. Let me try something. Yeah, it still changes it for all of them. Let's see, grid. Hey everyone, late here, cool challenge. I would go for flex instead of grid. Nice. Do you think it would be possible, Eunice? So let me read what Dale wrote. Could adding appropriately sized rows and spanning the vertical images into the extra rows or something like this work? By the way, I have no idea. Yeah, so I was actually trying that, Dale. That's a great suggestion. But here, let me try something. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. It changes it for all the items. Okay, so Eunice wrote, so I was thinking custom code would have been the route. Hey everyone, late here, cool challenge. I would go for flex instead of grid. And with a bit of CSS, alternate the height and vertical height versus vertical images. Interesting. Yeah, okay. So let's see. I should just had an idea. Okay. Let me try this. Okay, no. Let me put these images in div block and see test. I was trying to access the last item. That'd be great, Eunice. Cool. So Eunice is saying set it to flex and probably wrap. And then the collection list, you'd set it to 50%. Or 40. Oh, oops, yeah, my bad. Collection item, I'm gonna set it to 50%. Okay. And then, yeah, could we use like odd, even CSS? So let's see, this would be vertical, this would be vertical, but that would be odd, even. Let's see, yeah. Yeah, I'll be very curious, Eunice. All right, Tommy's gonna try it too. This is a great challenge, Amy, for sure. Yeah, if it wasn't for the CMS, we could definitely do it. But the CMS just complicates things a bit because it's like you change one thing in one and it changes it for the others. And we can't add a combo class. Because it would add it for all of them. Yeah. The only thing I'm thinking of how to do this, Amy, is, let me see, image. Post image, collection item. Let me see something. 1300 by 860. I'm wondering if we grab a vertical image. Okay. So this could be a way to do it. Let me go into the grid cells. I'm gonna set this back to grid actually. Grid. Yeah. Okay. And then the grid cell. Collection. No. Yeah. Collection item. Center. Center. Maybe like something like this. And for the collection list, okay, so that's really it. Okay, I know that's why I was doing it manually. I mean, if I'm using this as a portfolio site, I could just limit them myself manually like I was doing, but I thought a blog post would be so cool. 2 vertical divs with images spaced as needed, aligned toward the viewport center, if that makes sense. So it's 2 vertical divs with images spaced as needed, aligned toward the viewport center, if that makes sense. But be a nightmare for responsive. But the repeatable ones at the end are just the same, so it works that way. Yeah. Collection list. Mm-hmm. Collection list. Item. So what I'm thinking, Amy, is like if you manually size the images, then you can add them to the grid, but they wouldn't. They'd be somewhat. They would be responsive. Yeah. So like, let's see, like this, and then I could be like for this one, skateboarding. Like add a vertical image. You could give individual classes in the CMS with an additional field and then add the image in the class with embedded code. Would that work? Maybe. Give individual classes in the CMS with an individual field and then add the image and the class with embed code. Yeah. Yeah, that would work. Actually, Manuel, that's a great point. All right, so I don't know if this would work for you, Amy, but yeah, like just resizing the images manually, and then you can have alternating images like this. I'm trying to get it so the gap isn't that big, so we can fill this gap here. In this case, I might want to use flex. Yeah, so use flex and collection item, or just give let's see, this blog wrapper, or just make the container a lot smaller, 960. Yeah, and then for the collection item, we do something like this. Actually, let's just say grow if possible. Collection item 50%. We'll say 40%. Just give it some margin. Yeah, I don't know if that would work, Amy. You can let me know. Something like this. And then just alternate it. if you do do it this way, you'll still be able to resize the images. So I could still say something like, oh wait, no, that wouldn't work. Actually, yeah. If I change the width, it'll change the width for all of them. So I guess the way to do it for this would be, yeah, for the collection item, let me set it to flex center. The way to do it is to get the vertical proportions you want for the image initially, and then add it to the collection item, or reference it in the collection list, and then you can still make it responsive. Like you can see it gets smaller on different devices, and then when you get to mobile here, you could just be like, for the collection list, just set it to vertical, and the collection item set it to like 100%, and then add some margin at the bottom like that, and you could have all your blog post this way. And let me set this collection list wrapper container. All right, yeah, I'll remove this margin. All right, cool. And it could just be vertical on mobile. But that's probably the best I got for now, unless, like, I can show you what Manuel meant, but let me know if that's helpful, Amy, if you could do it that way. And let me just take a look here. Yeah, and for this effect, it looks like we're just changing the opacity on hover. So like here we could just be like, 40%. So on hover, it just changes the opacity of the image, and you can add an interaction to add, this here. So let me try making these images actually larger. So image, I'm gonna try 600. Yeah, something like that. Let's do 700. Okay, yes, because this has a max width. Let's try 1440. Yeah, so if you had your images like this, yeah, so I would just play with the dimensions. Like if you know your aspect ratio for each image, then that could work. But that's basically all I got for now. And I think what Manuel was referring to, so if I delete this, and in the collection item, we add an embed code, we could say something like image, see add field, what's main image? Okay, I don't know if this is gonna, image source equals main image, and close that. Or just, let's see. Okay, so we have that. And then, yeah, so let me show you this real quick, Amy, because I think this might help too. So you could do image and then do style, image style equals quotations width, and then, here, let me just close this for a second. Then in the CMS, you could do something like, let me go to the settings, add a new field, and you could do just a number. So where's the number? Here. We could say width and add a new field, and we could say number. We could say height. We could say height. Cool. All right. So So then we would add this here. So for this width, we could say 500 by 700. Click save. This one would be a square. Let's make it more square. So 400 by 400. Okay, so we go in here and we say style width is, then we get the width. I always forget no, that's right. Width, and then height. Oops. And close that. Okay. So I think that did it. Width. Oh, I have to say pixels. Duh. Pixels. And width. Pixels. Okay. Nice. So fit. Let me try setting it to cover. Nope. And I want to see if it applies it actually. It wouldn't. So I think we have to add that with CSS. Yeah, so we have to do it with CSS. Or you could add div blocks, but no, you want these as images. Let me just do a quick object fit CSS. Yeah, so we would do in the code for this, in the styles, in the code, we'd say object fit and fill. Yeah, and then save and close. And then for this, same thing. Huh, that didn't work. Oh, cover. There we go. All right, Amy, I think that's the answer. Yeah, so that would be the answer to that. And you could even do the width and the height by percentages, but after that you would have to get a bit more detailed into it. So Amy, if you want to send me an email, go ahead and do that, and I'll send you the read-only link to this project, so you can see what I did and kind of fiddle with it. You can take a look at the custom code, and yeah, so basically if you set the width and height within the CMS, you can then choose how you want to style each image with this piece of code inside. Cool. Yeah, that was fun. I learned something new as well. So we're always kind of learning new stuff, and we have a great chat here. So everyone's very helpful. Very nice. And then you can go ahead and add interactions and stuff and make it look like this. So let's just take a look here, see if this has specific width and height. Yeah, see width 90%, max width 500, and then this one, max width of 450. Yeah, so you could just play with that, see what values work, and cool. So you can go to webdevforyou.com and just go to contact, and then just fill out this form, and I'll send you this read-only link. Yeah, so it's just these first two that we kind of edited. All right, we went a bit over, so anyone who stayed, thanks for staying. Definitely didn't want you to feel like you had to stay. Usually I only go till 1 p.m., but we did have a very nice super chat from Amy, and we had some fun kind of troubleshooting this site. Yeah, I might go with max widths here, Amy, or percentages to make sure, or just apply a width. That way it should become responsive on mobile, or as we get down to different sizes. But yeah, I'll send it to you, and if you still have questions, just feel free to email me. Nice. Thanks, Eunice. Yeah, I know you were working on something. Yeah, if you have another kind of alternative to doing this, that'd be cool as well. Um, yeah, Eunice is a really good builder, so I'm sure you can. There might be something there aside from the embed. Um, yeah, but that's probably the only way I can think of for now. But we'll see. Eunice, I'm curious to see if you come up with something for sure. All right. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Amy, I'll send you the read-only link. Thanks for bringing this up. It was very fun. Tomorrow we'll just build another layout. Today we built out this contact form. This was a lot of fun. This will be clonable after this video. You can go to my interactions, which I'm going to change to clonables, and it'll be here. You can clone it. Just take a look and see what I did in this live stream. Yeah, so that's it for this live stream today on October 12th, 2021. Thanks everyone for joining, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you.